First and foremost, it just revealed the kind of character that we have. The toughness, the relentless spirit, the flexibility.
It's finished. The people in command are giving matches to the arsonists and adding gasoline to the fire, putting the entire endeavor at risk of a full-blown, catastrophic, system-wide collapse. By far, this is no longer just about a game. This concerns an open, antagonistic, and completely indisputable uprising that is developing within the WNBA. A civil war against its own rescue, golden ticket, and final opportunity. Clark, Caitlin. This internal conflict has now resulted in its first high-profile deserter and public casualty. They forced a coach to resign, not relinquish her position. No, that would be too easy and tidy. They have made a well-known and accomplished head coach give up on the public square, the fans, and even the concept of accountability. All because hundreds of thousands of new admirers yelled the truth, the unvarnished, unadulterated truth, too loudly for the collapsing establishment to ignore. This is a 5-alarm, code red fire. We are seeing the public application of common sense, televised live for the entire world to witness. This is a complete system breakdown taking place in real time. The so-called experts in the mainstream sports media, who have financial incentives to defend the league, are deliberately misleading you. They're assuring you that this is ordinary beginner treatment while feeding you pitiful, patronizing lines. They are attempting to persuade you that this is simply welcome to the league's physicality. It's a blatant, repulsive falsehood. And the actual folks, the fans? For the first time in this league's troubled history, those who are truly footing the bill are shouting the truth from the rooftops of the internet. And at last, the carefully built wall of quiet and denial has been breached by their cries and their rightful indignation. The head coach of Connecticut Sun, the league's unbeaten top team, Stephanie White, just learned what happens when you engage in the league's dirty little secret and are discovered. Her squad, which was excellent, played the Indiana Fever, and naturally, they used ridiculous, needless, and even deadly physicality against Caitlin Clark. It appears to be the only strategy anyone has against her. It's the unwritten memo for the entire league. Beat her up if you can't outsmart her. Hip check her into the third row if you are unable to outshoot her. It's a tactic that prioritizes brutality above skill, but this time was unique. This time, the response went beyond a few minor grievances. It was a biblical deluge. Caitlin Clark's fan following unleashed a tidal wave of unadulterated wrath. A fan base that currently serves as the WNBA's whole clientele. They have had enough of seeing the league's best player treated like a human piñata. One game after another. The screen is filled with a fast-paced, disorienting collage of social media remarks. Display irate YouTube responses, Instagram comments, and tweets aimed against Stephanie White and the Connecticut Sun's official accounts. Messages are highlighted, and usernames are displayed. Shameful. It's not basketball here. Keep your stars safe. The remarks were harsh. They were unrelenting. They had no mercy at all. You should feel guilty that your team plays dirty basketball. Is this a targeted attack or a basketball? The league must look into this. You're just another bigot. Another coach who is envious of a 2-2-year-old superstar with more talent in her pinky than your team as a whole. It continued for several hours. A digital army of supporters who can clearly see what the media, players, and league office are unable to see. That they are deliberately attempting to injure, dehumanize, and physically and psychologically destroy the one individual who has the potential to make this league significant on a worldwide level. And how did this public outcry turn out? When the truth was exposed for everyone to see, what happened? Stephanie White was unable to handle it. It was too much pressure. The reality was too harmful. Her X account was erased. She resigned. She had no defense, so she fled the conversation. She is not justified. There is no way to defend what is taking place. This goes beyond a coach deciding to log off after receiving some hurtful tweets. This is a fundamental flaw in the WNBA as a whole. The exact supporters her league pitifully needs to exist publicly humiliated a head coach of an unbeaten team and drove her into virtual exile. The entire paying public has cast a gigantic vote of no confidence. This is the audience speaking up and making it clear to the WNBA, we will not tolerate the conspiracy, jealousy, and concerted attacks that we witness. If you ruin your own product, we won't pay. Consider the horrifying message that permeates the entire company. For Caitlin Clark on the court as well as for anyone who is thought to be a member of the old guard that so obviously despises her, the league, the seasoned players, and their coaches all work together to create a poisonous, hostile, and dangerous environment. They've cultivated a resentful us versus them mindset, and now it's exploding up in their faces in the most dramatic and visible way possible. They genuinely believed they could steer the story. They believed they could gaslight the millions of new viewers by sending out their ESPN media mouthpieces to present this as usual. However, they greatly underestimated the people's might. The direct, emotional, and monetary investment that millions of new followers have in Caitlin Clark was underestimated. This is no longer only a sporting problem. It's a full-fledged cultural dispute. It is a revolt against a weak, insecure establishment that would sooner destroy the entire house than acknowledge that a transcendent superstar is greater and more significant than all of them put together. A high-definition, slow-motion video of Chennedy Carter's blatant foul on Clark that keeps playing. Next, a slow-motion video of Tiasha Harris's risky hip check is shown. Overlay the pictures with bold, red text. This isn't basketball. It's a targeted attack. Let's be bluntly, horribly, and utterly clear. What we witness every night is not basketball. It's a well-planned campaign of physical intimidation that is intentionally made possible by the repulsive envy of seasoned players who can't abide that a rookie is receiving all the attention they were never able to, as well as implicitly approved by the league office's dead silence. They attack her rather than double-team her. When the referees aren't looking, they push her to the ground rather than boxing her out. What about the referees? They have either received their marching orders from higher up, are completely incompetent, or are complicit in this effort. No other rational reason exists. Everybody has witnessed it on a daily basis. It is indisputable that there are cheap shots, off-ball shoves, and persistent grabbing and holding. The sport is ashamed of it. And the facilitators are individuals like Stephanie White. Her strategy, like that of every other coach this season, centers on the pitiful notion of physically abusing Caitlin Clark until she breaks. She was unable to confront the song when the paying customers and fans confronted her about it. She bolted. She ended the discussion. That's an admission of guilt right there. In this whole unfolding disaster, it is the most telling moment. It demonstrates that they are aware of the wrongness, filth, and indefensibility of what they are doing. They simply never would have imagined that such a sizable and fervent fan base would hold them responsible for it. They believed that the opinions of the general public would not affect their small, isolated world. The water has arrived, the gates have been breached, and everyone involved will be terrified of the financial fallout from this well-planned operation of self-sabotage. Visual, a potent split screen. On one side, thousands of fans wearing Clark jerseys fill an entirely sold-out arena for an Indiana Fever game. On the opposite side is archive video of a quiet, lifeless, half-empty WNBA arena from a past season. Remembering the realities of this league only 6 months ago is important. In essence, the WNBA was a charity case. Playing in front of friends, family, and a small group of devoted supporters, it was a financial black hole that was supported by the NBA for decades. It was a specialized product with no appeal to the general public. Then Caitlin Clark, a lady, showed up. And all of a sudden, she turned into the dying organization's one-woman economic stimulus package. The league's ticket costs have increased by more than 200%. On certain nights, viewership figures are surpassing those of the NBA and NHL, shattering previous records. Her jersey went on to become the best-selling draft pick jersey in sports history for both male and female athletes. After decades of protests, she forced the league to eventually approve charter flights for all teams by generating so much money and attention on her own. She is an economic miracle all by herself. She would be wrapped in industrial-grade bubble wrap by any rational company, any firm with a shred of intelligence or a basic survival instinct. They would insist that referees treat her as if she were a precious national asset. They would center every advertising campaign, television commercial, and social media post around her. They would make her the league's unchallenged, unrepentant face and challenge anyone to do otherwise. However, what has the WNBA accomplished? The complete opposite. She has been used as a nightly punching bag by their envious, angry players. The biggest names in the league, the so-called veterans, have gone on podcasts and interviews to disparage her, gripe about her, and stoke animosity instead of bringing her gift baskets and expressing gratitude for their increased prominence and higher salaries. Out of sheer, pitiful, unadulterated jealousy, they are deliberately contaminating their own water supply. In the annals of contemporary sports, it is the most spectacular and astounding act of institutional self-destruction. After receiving a lottery ticket worth billions of dollars, they all agreed to set it on fire. For a moment, picture the NBA in the 1980s deciding that Michael Jordan was becoming too well-known. What would have happened if David Stern had let Jordan leave the league as a result of the bad boy Pistons' brutal, filthy actions being unpunished? The NBA would not have survived. In the annals of sports history, it would be a forgotten footnote. The WNBA is currently perched on just that precipice. They are deliberately choosing to be the Detroit Pistons, and they are living their Michael Jordan moment. There are many players, coaches, and executives in the league who would prefer to govern over a kingdom of ashes than witness a new queen legitimately ascend to the throne. And it's all visible to the wealthy and influential fans. I'd like to read what you have to say, because the mainstream media are too cowardly to do so. They don't want to upset their league partners. But now, the only thing that counts are your voices. Visual. One by one, the full-screen tweets and YouTube comments are emphasized for maximum impact. This is a remark by JayhawksFan88. The best evidence is Stephanie White's account deletion. The feed was coached by her.